the traditional and unceded territory of the Secwepemc people. It's my pleasure to invite forward Elder Estella Patrick Moller to receive a gift of sage and to bring her blessing to our meeting.
Why don't you come stand beside me?
Okay.
You can actually see it this way. Thank you.
Ray, everybody take a gentle breath. Just be here on this land. Just feel the earth between underneath your foot. And may you walk in the ancestors of the people who live here, the Secwepemc people. And that through walking in their footprints, you will gain knowledge which will help you to be here on earth. Creator, bless us here as we walk on the territory of the Secwepemc people, and that together we're gathered here at PRU to celebrate our achievements, our Canadian way of life, our freedom, and that we have peace in the midst of chaos in other parts of the world, and that we can celebrate and have our intense gratitude that together we're working towards providing a beautiful place to train people in all sorts of trades, way of being, and that we provide excellence in training. And through the kind of care that we give to our students, we send them out into the world to represent our way of life. And that together we provide excellent people to bring peace to other parts of the world. And that you're welcome here and welcome to our leader. That through providing excellence, we bring peace and harmony to the world. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Elder Estella, for those moving words. I know that we will be inspired by the spirit of what you've said in all that we do here today. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Prime Minister. Welcome to the world's most environmentally sustainable university. Due to the dedicated efforts of students and faculty here, due to things like our buildings, this university has been rated as the first in the world with a platinum standard in environmental sustainability. It's truly an honor to welcome you, Prime Minister, to Thompson Rivers University. This building, our Industrial Training and Technology Centre, and the equipment around us would not have been possible without the support of your government, the Government of Canada. The federal government's investment of more than $13 million into this building, into our students, means that as educators we can do more to ensure that our students thrive in the future economy and hold jobs that will support, sustain and grow the communities in the BC interior. This is the most significant capital investment here in trades and technology in 20 years. It enables our millwright program to function in new and expanded space that we see around us with industry standard equipment that make our graduates employment ready the moment that they leave their program. This building also offers space for new programs such as refrigeration and air conditioning that we saw briefly earlier, and instrumentation, important new fields for BC. So on behalf of TRU, I want to thank the Prime Minister for his visit today and for the government's contribution. I certainly also want to recognize our Dean, Baldev Puni, and his faculty, some of whom have joined us for their dedication to our students. So thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister, and welcome.
Thank you, Brett. Hello, everyone. It's great to be back at Thompson Rivers University once again after kicking off our annual town hall tour here last night. I want to thank you for your welcome, Elder Estella. I want to thank you for your beautiful words and your blessing. And I want to thank all the students here. Thank you for sharing with me a glimpse into what you did just earlier. And thank you for being here this morning because your hard work and what you are learning right now is going to contribute in significant ways to the economic growth that Canada needs to see by getting great jobs and growing your communities. We wanted to come back today to visit the university's brand new Industrial Training and Technology Centre. As you know, one of our government's top priorities has been to cement Canada's position as a global leader in innovation. And the first step in achieving that goal is to invest in our students and in their future. Les jeunes savent mieux que quiconque à quel point notre monde change rapidement. C'est certain que la technologie et l'innovation ont complètement transformé notre façon d'apprendre, de travailler et de vivre. Et même si la nouvelle économie présente de nouvelles opportunités, les jeunes Canadiens n'ont pas toujours l'impression d'avoir les outils nécessaires pour saisir ces opportunités. C'est pourquoi notre gouvernement a décidé d'agir. Nous avons annoncé des nouveaux fonds pour soutenir les collèges et les universités pendant qu'ils continuent à adapter leurs programmes aux réalités changeantes de l'économie actuelle. Here in Kamloops, our government invested more than $13 million to build this Industrial Training and Technology Centre. Coupled with contributions from the BC government, TRU and other donors, the centre opened its doors in September for students to enjoy. And today, I had the chance to see how this project became a reality. With this new state-of-the-art facility, the Trades and Technology program welcomes 550 additional students and offers new training for in-demand technology and trades professions. It also creates new, dedicated teaching spaces for architectural, engineering, technology programs. These changes will not only better prepare students for the jobs of tomorrow, but also propel our country forward. After all, the people who work in the trades build Canada. They build our homes, power our offices, and ensure that our water is clean and safe. Every day they repair, modernize, and innovate so communities can thrive. With investments like the one we made here at TRU, our goal is to ensure that the next generation of tradesmen and women have the tools, training, and knowledge to build a better Canada for all Canadians. Today, I had the pleasure of seeing part of this vision come to life here in Kamloops, but I'm even more excited to see what the students will get up to in the years to come. Once again, I want to thank you all for being here and thank everyone at the university for the warm welcome. I'm now happy to take some questions from media.
All right. Melanie Nagy, Okay, I'll get closer. Melanie Nagy, CTV News, and I have to say, I was proudly raised in Kamloops, so just have to shout that out. Two quick questions. First one, Mr. Bryson's resignation leaves a major hole in your cabinet. Already talk of a big cabinet shuffle coming down the pipe on Monday. What are your thoughts? What are your comments on it?
First of all, I want to recognize the extraordinary service that Scott Bryson has offered to Canadians for 22 years as a Member of Parliament, as a Minister in multiple governments, and as someone who has every day dedicated himself to this country, to his community, and to building a better future for all. As a parent, I know, like so many know, the difficult challenge of balancing a demanding job with time spent with young families. So I fully respect his decision, but we're going to miss him tremendously. But I know that his daughters Claire and Rose missed him much more over the past years, and the fact that he's going to be able to spend some more time with them is something I wish him much happiness and success with. Obviously, this will require some changes to our cabinet, and that's something that we're going to be announcing on Monday.
And just really quickly, Wet'suwet'en First Nations have now announced the hereditary chiefs they will be complying with the injunction, but they say this is far from over. The situation in the north looks like it could be a tough road ahead for you when it comes to oil and gas development here in BC. And what do you have to say to the people of BC and the Wet'suwet'en First Nation? Well,
first of all, I deeply respect the concerns and the issues brought forward by a broad range of people. There are folks on all sides of various energy debates that need to be heard, need to be listened to, and need to be worked with. And that's part of what our government is focused on in terms of building these relationships, making sure that there are processes that fold in all different voices and respond and allay fears and concerns that people might have. The way we are doing resource development, construction, exporting of our resources is changing in this country. We know we cannot do it without creating partnerships and engaging with Indigenous peoples who are the traditional custodians of these lands, without thinking deeply about the environmental consequences and the long-term impacts of the choices we're making. And this is very much something that our government is moving forward on. Not because, well, we're doing it because we know that it's the only way to get things done right, is to engage with people broadly and demonstrate that we understand that the only way to build a strong economy is to protect the environment at the same time, and the only way to protect the environment is to continue to build a strong economy. That is what we're focused on, and we're going to make sure that we're respectful and listening as we develop new processes, as we move through inevitable challenges that come with changing the way we do things for the better.
Hi, Tanya Fletcher from CBC. Going back to the Scott Bryson announcement that came out today, you could have chosen to fill Minister Bryson's job only, so why do you see the need to do a shuffle now?
We will be announcing what we are making in terms of changes to the cabinet on Monday.
And how many ministers do you expect will be impacted?
This is an announcement that we will be making on Monday.
Could you just make that first comment you made about Mr. Bryson in French, if you wouldn't mind, please? Thank you.
Je veux d'abord reconnaître à quel point Scott Bryson a été quelqu'un qui a dédié sa vie, 22 ans de sa vie, au service public. C'est un homme d'intégrité qui a toujours servi sa communauté et son pays avec des capacités extraordinaires et un engagement, une dédication très forte. Nous savons que c'est toujours difficile de jumeler travail et famille en politique et dans toutes sortes d'emplois. Et je respecte énormément son désir de passer plus de temps avec ses deux filles de 5 ans, Claire et Rose. Je sais que ce n'est pas une décision facile, mais je lui souhaite toute la meilleure dans ses prochains projets et surtout de passer plus de temps avec son mari Max et ses enfants.
Great. Hi, Prime Minister. Sarah McDonald, Global News. Our network has reported on a number of violent threats, even death threats, against you on social media by members of the Yellow Vest Canada group. We've seen a number of demonstrators on the ground here in Kamloops that self-identify as being part of the Yellow Vests during your time here. Are you concerned about the tone that political debate is taking on this election year? And do you think that political parties across the spectrum are doing enough to condemn extreme rhetoric like what we've been hearing in the past couple of days?
I think Canada is a country in which we encourage people to speak out and express their views and express their preoccupations and make sure that they are sharing their voices and their perspectives. That's one of the strengths of our democracy. There's no question that for me, if someone disagrees with what I'm doing or has questions about where we're going, I want to be able to hear from them. I want to be able to exchange with them and talk about how we can move forward together, how I can respond to their fears, concerns, or worries, and engage in a thoughtful way in finding the best path forward for all of us. people will make their own choices about how they choose to engage in politics, but I certainly know that in a country as diverse as Canada, not just geographically, but with so many different backgrounds, so many different points of view as well, it's really important to listen to each other and to do so in a respectful manner, because that's the only way of actually building the kinds of solutions that will keep us together and move us forward on the right path.
And one follow-up question on Scott Bryson. Thank you for that answer. Is his resignation, I should say, related to the trial of Vice Admiral Mark Norman? And do you believe that Norman is guilty of leaking government and cabinet secrets, as you have previously implied? I've
said and I've accepted Scott Bryson's decision based on his desire to spend more time with family, and that is certainly something that I can understand as a father of young kids myself, and that is something that we have accepted and are moving forward with. On the issue of the matter before the courts, as I've said, it would be inappropriate for me to weigh in on that.
Hi, Delana Millibar with CFJC News. At the town hall last night, you heard some frustrations from local First Nations members. What are your thoughts on the current state of the relationship between the federal government and various Indigenous communities as it is right now?
Well, I think one of the things that has been clear is that there's an awful lot of work to do to rebuild trust, to move forward on reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. What has been broken over decades, over generations, over centuries in the relationship with the original custodians and stewards of this land is something that is going to take time to fix. And we know that it has to be done in true respect and in true partnership. And that is why we have engaged with Indigenous communities and Indigenous leadership and Indigenous citizens right across the country to respond to their concerns and to build that partnership. But we know that it is a long journey, and there are very, very positive signs of success in many communities where there are new schools, new health centres, new agreements for fiscal independence and long-term funding coming in, better autonomy, more self-government, concrete outcomes like eliminating long-term drinking water advisories in 72 different communities and on our way to eliminate all of them on schedule over the next 2 years. Moving forward on building more housing, building those partnerships both in changing the relationship so it's a better partnership, and also making sure that Indigenous communities and Indigenous children have the same care, the same opportunities. But we know that progress hasn't been even across the country. There are areas that are doing better, there are areas that are facing more challenges. And as a government, we are looking to work in partnership, in respect with everyone. There continue to be challenges, there continues to be mistrust, but we know that the only way to move forward is to stay thoughtful, positive, engaged, and try and find that path forward in true partnership, because we cannot go back to the broken relationship we had before. We need to build a stronger future for all of us, and that happens in the true spirit of reconciliation.
Hi, Teresa Varenka from KamloopsMatters.com. Last night you said that you were more optimistic about the state of our planet than David Suzuki. How can you confidently say that when our allies south of the border are trying to do away with environmental regulations?
Well, we have a great example here in Canada. For 10 years under the Conservatives, we had a government that did very, very little on protecting the environment. That wasn't the Conservative politicians' priority through the Stephen Harper years. But regardless of the lack of leadership at the federal level, we saw municipalities, big cities, provinces step up, and businesses and individuals step up on protecting the environment. We had BC move forward with a world-class price on pollution that has both reduced emissions and created the best growing economy in the country. So there has been, in the lack of federal leadership that we saw, tremendous advances made across the country despite that. So when a government that believes deeply in protecting the environment and fighting climate change was elected in 2015, we were able to build on the great work that had been done by Canadians across the country for many years. And we're continuing on that and moving forward with a price on pollution that will apply right across the country, that we will meet our Paris commitments by 2030. We know that we all have to act in ways that both make our economy cleaner and stronger, and support regular people through these changes. Similarly, in the United States, even though the federal government has taken a step back from protecting the environment, we've seen big cities, businesses, states show real leadership on moving forward on fighting climate change and understanding that economic growth and environmental responsibility and sustainability go hand in hand, like we've seen all around the world. Everyone understands that this is not just about a moral imperative to protect the planet for future generations. It's a tangible economic challenge we're facing when we deal with wildfires and more extreme weather events, whether they be floods or droughts or fires that we've seen, or hurricanes down south. We know we need to act tangibly, concretely, to both protect our environment and grow our economy. And I have seen and had great conversations with Canadians right across the country who get it, who want it, and who are expecting it from their governments. And that's what leaves me fundamentally optimistic.
Hi, Mr. Trudeau. Colton Davies, Radio NL. I know you met with the Mayor of Kamloops and 2 local First Nations chiefs in our area yesterday. What were your takeaways from those meetings?
It was an extraordinary pleasure to sit down with Chiefs Roseanne Casimir and Chief Ron Ignace. They were conversations about the issues facing these communities and how, as a federal government, we're working with them to respond to their concerns. There's a lot of work to do, but they were very, very positive conversations about the respectful path we're engaged in. And it was, I always understand there's a range of voices in any community, but the positive conversations I had with the chiefs yesterday was somewhat in contrast to some of the exchanges we saw last night, which means there's lots more work to do throughout communities to bring people along, but there's a lot of good news to be highlighting as well. My meeting with Mayor Ken Christian was extremely positive as well. He had some very clear issues where the federal emphasis on infrastructure, whether it's water infrastructure or recognizing the transit investments that we've made over the past few years here in Kamloops and others, there are a number of priorities he had that we very much share, and I look forward to working with Mayor Christian and the people of Kamloops on strong investments that are going to make a real difference for people here in Kamloops and throughout the BC interior.
On that note, from what you heard yesterday then, do you anticipate maybe any new funding for things like infrastructure related to improvements for climate change for Kamloops or First Nations or the rest of the area here?
The role of the federal government is to be a partner to local priorities. And on infrastructure investments, we've been putting forward historic infrastructure investments right across the country because we know that preparing to grow our economy, investing in good jobs now for hardworking folks who are going to be building that infrastructure and increase quality of life and economic growth for the long term is a key way of building stronger communities and a better economy. So I look forward to partnering and making announcements with, and our government making announcements in partnership with the provincial and municipal governments here in Kamloops and indeed across the country in the coming months.
Hi, Mike Protestio from Kamloops This Week newspaper. Your government's committed to building the Trans Mountain Pipeline. The company you purchased it from, Kinder Morgan, they had previously made community benefit agreements with multiple communities, including Kamloops. If the pipeline comes to fruition, does your government plan to honor those agreements?
Absolutely. The benefit sharing impacts agreements is absolutely something that we're going to be continuing with. The reason we stepped up to invest in the Kinder Morgan, in the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion was because we know that getting our resources to new markets other than the United States, our oil resources to markets other than the United States, is essential for the Canadian economy. We know we have to move forward in cleaner ways on the economy, but we will remain reliant on fossil fuels for a long time still, and making sure that we're exporting those responsibly and getting full benefit for our communities, for the investments we need to make in more renewable energies and in better solutions is key. That's why, as we're moving forward on this, we're making sure we're following the blueprint that the Federal Court of Appeals put forward that said we need more consultations, more partnerships with Indigenous peoples, and better environmental science, particularly when it comes to marine protection. So we are moving forward in the right way, which is what all Canadians expect. They don't want people to pretend there's a choice to be made between the economy or the environment. They don't want Indigenous communities to continue to be marginalized from the benefits off the lands that they are traditional custodians of. These are the kinds of things that we need to work forward in thoughtful, positive ways, and we look forward to ensuring that all Canadians, including Indigenous Canadians, benefit from projects that affect them.
And just one follow-up for me. Your visit here comes at a time when BC just finished a referendum on proportional representation, and obviously this visit is part of kind of the kickoff to the federal election campaign. In 2015, you walked away from, or you ended up walking away from your 2015 campaign promise to move to first past the post. You said it'd be the last, or move away from first past post to proportional representation. You said it'd be the last one we would have under that system. So heading into this election season, what can you say to Canadians to assure them that you won't walk away from your promises this time around?
The most important promise we made in the last election was to here in BC alone. We've got some record low unemployment levels, and our economy is doing very well because we've been investing in the kinds of things that matter to Canadians. That will remain our focus, and that's what we're going to be talking an awful lot about in the upcoming election, because that's what we know Canadians are most preoccupied with. On the issue of electoral reform, it was clear there was no consensus to be had, as again we saw in this BC referendum, and therefore that wasn't something we were going to move forward on. But we have moved significantly in reversing some of the very damaging changes to our Elections Act that the Harper government had done. We're moving forward and making elections fairer, more open, making sure that more people have the opportunity to vote, because we believe that strengthening our democracy and protecting it from outside interference is something that all Canadians can agree is really important.
Last question.
Hi, Laura Kane, Canadian Press. What specifically did Scott Bryson bring to the table at cabinet discussions? What gaps are you going to be looking to fill? Well,
the president of the Treasury Board is someone who is focused on actually delivering on the significant investments and services to Canadians that a government is responsible for. His thoughtfulness, his capacity to understand how best to deliver programming, his ability to understand Canadians through his many, many years of service was extremely valuable around the cabinet table in that perspective, but on any discussion that we had, his was always a voice of thoughtful perspective and constructive suggestions. He will be missed, but I know that he's got a lot of great challenges ahead of him, and I very much respect the decision that he made to spend more time with his family.
I'm wondering if you can clearly say whether or not you condone the RCMP's actions on Monday night. Do you think they escalated the situation unnecessarily?
I think we are all very pleased that the situation seems to have de-escalated significantly over the course of yesterday. I know that there will be questions asked and required to answer over the coming weeks about what exactly was done, what could have been done differently. We're in a time of figuring out how to do something new, which is to make sure that when we build projects, we are properly engaging, listening to, and working with everyone who will be affected by that. That's not necessarily the way governments used to function in the past, and I think we can all agree that is the way we need to move forward as a country, in a more respectful, more thoughtful, more engaged way. There are going to be moments where that doesn't work out as well as it should, and we're going to need to learn from those moments. But there is no question that the goodwill that is shared by all Canadians who want to see better respect and partnership with Indigenous peoples, while at the same time we make sure we are continuing to grow the economy in ways that benefits everyone, including Indigenous peoples and all Canadians, is something that we're going to have to continue to roll up our sleeves and work hard on. There are no easy answers on this, but it is something that I know Canadians are going to be able to solve together with thoughtfulness and positive engagement.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you very much.